Hello there. Here we are once again, guys. So, I have watched Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, and I have to say, guys, I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. This right here is what we, the fan base from the original source material, want as a sequel. It has humor, it has action, it has family drama, and of course, it has ghosts and a lot of new energy. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into a non-spoiler version. I'm going to, talk about it generally, what's the movie, what's going on, and then I'm going to switch to a full-on spoiler version, okay? All right, non-spoiler version. Here we go. So, we have the direct sequel to Ghostbusters Afterlife, and if you have not watched Ghostbusters Afterlife, please, go watch it. It's pretty good. I cried like a baby. All right, so this one is starting, of course, again, McKenna Grace, Paul Rudd, Finn Wolfhard, and Carrie Coon as the descendants of Eon Spangler, except for Paul Rudd, that he's just the add-on here. So they are set now in New York City, and they are basically taking the mantle of being the new Ghostbusters team. Pretty cool, I know. And with any Ghostbusters movie, you guys know that we are in for some crazy paranormal happenings. So, it's gonna be a paranormal adventure. So we knew that. Situations are going to arise, and there's just gonna be some good old ghost busting. So what we know is that there is an ancient, paranormal, maleficent kind of spirit that kind of wants to rule the world. So again, we are in a kind of anti-apocalyptic kind of situation. And of course, the Ghostbusters need to find any way to stop, what's going to happen. This is basically like the whole thing of the Ghostbusters. Evil paranormal forces arise, and they are there to tackle it. Okay, so let me tell you what I truly enjoyed about this sequel. Not only, of course, that, it's another Ghostbusters movie, because, I love the Ghostbusters. Anyone who knows me knows, original. They're classics. What I truly enjoyed about this one is that the difference between this one and Afterlife is that we have the original cast members in this movie once again, but instead of like what happened in Afterlife that they just kind of came in there at the end, in this one, they're actually more involved in the actual plot of the entire movie. So I'm still not in spoilers, but Of course, we have returning Annie Potts as Janine Melnitz, Bill Murray as Peter Venkman, Dan Aykroyd as Ray Stantz, and of course, Ernie Hudson as the amazing Winston Zeddemore. And just seeing these characters, guys, it is so enlightening, so funny, it kind of takes you home. Kind of like, I'm here, the Ghostbusters are here, and it's just, you feel welcome, and you feel like, I'm going to say it, because busting makes me feel good. So, of course, still staying with the non-spoilers, a lot of paranormal stuff is going down, and the Ghostbusters are here to stop it. All right, this is where now I'm going to get into the spoilers, so right now we're going to switch to spoilers. Okay, guys, so here we are. Time for the spoiler version of Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. If you have not watched this movie yet, pause the video, go watch it, then come back. It's okay. I got you. So let's take it from the beginning. So again, we have the Spangler family who is now set up in New York City in their old firehouse. And just looking at the firehouse brings back so many memories of the original. And of course, it tugs at your heart, of course. They are all doing their normal business. One day they are doing their ghost busting habit as usual. They're chasing down this kind of paranormal dragon down the street. And of course, again, I'm going to say it this way, in ghost busting fashion, there's a lot of damage and they get into a little hot water, which brings them in front of the mayor of New York, which in this turn is Walter Peck. This guy. Yes, Walter Peck is now the mayor of New York, and if you guys remember, if you guys are fans like I am, Walter Peck was the adversary of the Ghostbusters in the first film. He just did not agree with what they were doing, and he was just being a jerk. A jerk in power. What can we expect? It's politics. Of course, he is played by the incomparable William Atherton, who did an amazing job with this character the first time and the second time. And of course, him being in power says to the Ghostbusters, you have a minor working on your team, and this causes Phoebe basically to get benched. She is no longer able to do the ghost-busting duties until she is a full adult, because in this movie, she's only 15. Ouch. Yes, there's going to be teenage drama, teenage angst, and of course, in this scope, as she is dealing with her teenage angst, she befriends a ghost named Melody. Okay, we'll come back to that. As this is happening, so meanwhile, We have Dr. Ray Stantz, who of course is in his occult shop, and he's working with podcasts of all people, which is pretty cool. Having again characters from the Ghostbusters Afterlife movie just come back for this sequel. That's basically amazing. So they come into contact with this brand new character named Nadim. I'm trying to remember his last name. Nadim, I think Rosmati. Okay, so Nadim has all these artifacts from his grandmother that he wants to sell to Ray, because Ray's always buying, these paranormal things or just buying weird items. So Ray comes into the acquisition of this orb that Nadim states that it has been in his family for so many years. And right there, of course, we know that this is the orb that's going to cause everything to go down. What I found interesting as Nadim, was being introduced as the character and he's playing it out, I noticed something about him in fire. And of course, it is later revealed that Nadim has some kind of like closed in fire ability. He's kind of like, he's pyrokinetic, basically. He's pyrokinetic, and it's been brought down from his family for generations. Why? I'm going to tell you that in a minute. So this orb is actually kind of like a prison, a mystical prison for this ancient paranormal being named Goraka. And Goraka apparently has this freezing, chilling kind of like, basically everything freezes that he touches. And he's just this powerful, ancient, paranormal deity, I guess if you want to say. And he wants out, obviously. He wants out of this prison that he was put into by what we later come to know as the Fire Masters. Of course, he's in prison and he wants to get out, and he's going to do it by any means possible. So we are switching back to, of course, Phoebe with her teenage angst and her teenage issues, getting closer to Melody. And as soon as I saw Melody, I'm thinking, why is the ghost revealing herself to Phoebe? Of course, I'm always suspicious about every aspect of the movie. And of course, it turns out that Melody does have an ulterior motive. One of the things that Goraka can do is Goraka controls ghosts. Goraka wants out of the orb. Goraka is controlling Melody in order to kind of like work her way into the Spangler family and just get released. What happens? When Ray acquires this orb the first time, there's this huge, I'm going to say a spectral kind of like earthquake, and it is directed to the containment unit at the firehouse. The containment unit is basically full. I mean, they've been ghostbusting for how many years now? You guys do the math. I'm not doing that. Me and math don't mix. It is also revealed that Winston has been working on that based on Egon's original plans of containing ghosts, basically. So he's building something separately in a separate location and saying, okay, we can fix this. We can just start taking ghosts out of this containment unit, start making room. So that way, basically it won't happen like in the first movie where everything just kind of popped. And of course, you know whose fault that was, right? Yeah, Beck did it. Anyways, so back to this plot here. Okay, we have Winston and a new team of investigators where we find Lucky from Afterlife, of course, another character brought in from Ghostbusters Afterlife. She's working with the new unit, and of course, Winston is explaining to everybody how everything works, the new containment system based on Egon's old plans, and how everything is just, coming up roses, so to speak. Good old fashioned, we know that everything's just not gonna stay the way it is, as Phoebe keeps being feeling like nobody lets her do what she wants. She wants to be, she says she's a Ghostbuster, she should be doing it. And then of course in the background you have Walter Peck watching them, telling them that he is, just dying to just take everything the Ghostbusters means apart. He just wants it gone, dull, annoyed, whatever. So it does come to a point where, Melody is trying to get Phoebe to open the orb, because apparently you need a human voice to recite a certain chant to open the orb so that Goraka can come out. It does happen. I don't want to give you too many details because I want you to go see this movie. But it accidentally happens where Phoebe speaks the chant, but she was tricked into it, so to speak. And Goraka is released into everything. And then they're trying to scramble. They are trying to figure out how to, get Goraka either back in the orb or contain him in some way. And of course, what Goraka wants is to create a ghost army. He wants all the souls. And where right now are all those souls? I know you're asking that question. Those souls are in the containment unit at the firehouse. Yes, guys. So the fight is coming to them. So Garaka's loose. Phoebe is feeling guilty and everything. The family is kind of like falling apart. Gary's trying to be a father figure and he just doesn't know how to do it because he wants to be their buddy. And of course, Callie's trying to tell him, it's okay to be a jerk sometimes. You just got to be a parent. Okay, and then, we have Trevor just being Trevor. And of course, oh my gosh, guys, I have to say, Slimer, when is Slimer gonna get his name Slimer in the movie? When is he gonna be able to like join the Ghostbusters like he did in the original cartoons? You guys remember, right? Oh, sorry. So of course we have that Garaka is coming for them. He's coming for the firehouse. He wants to control all the ghosts, and by this point there have been so many spectral earthquakes that the containment unit is kind of falling apart. It is about to pop. So Garaka's coming. It's about to pop. And of course, we have all the original Ghostbusters come back, get in there and say, you know what? This is not happening on our watch. Let's all join together and stop this dude. And of course, you gotta love Bill Murray. He just comes in with those one-liners and his actions. I gotta tell you guys, I was laughing a lot through this movie. And I mean, like I said, I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. I loved the laughing, just everything about the movie. So, okay, so we come down to Garaka is basically there's like a standstill. Like, Garaka's here. What are we doing? And who would be the one who actually figures everything out and in the end comes out the winning hero? Okay, of course it's Phoebe. She figures out that the brass or the copper, whatever that imprisoned Garaka the first time around. So she figures out a way to incorporate that into her proton pack. That's amazing. Guys, full on spoilers. I'm sorry. You just got to go see the movie. So, as everybody's trying to fight Garaka, the original team, including Janine Melnitz, she is dressed to the nine as a Ghostbuster with her some kind of nice handy thing on her. Man, I'm telling you, I am loving this. So again, there's a confrontation between Phoebe and Melody. How Melody is just saying, I'm sorry that this is all happening. I just really want to see my family again. And Garaka promised that she could. She was manipulated. And, characters that are manipulated always at some point have a moment where their characters could maybe have some redemption. And it does happen. Phoebe stands up to Garaka. She is in there trying to fight him off, but she is basically outmatched when it comes to Garaka because of his, the freezing spell that he does. But at that moment, Melody in her redemption helps her out, and Nadim, being able now to control his pyrokinetic powers, kind of gets in there with Phoebe, and they're holding Garaka, and everybody's thinking, like, how can we contain him? What are we going to do? And then it just comes out, wait a minute, we can contain him right here. If the containment unit that has already kind of busted open, it did pop, by the way. It did pop, and all the ghosts kind of, went out everywhere. Let's contain him in there now. There's room in there now. Let's do this. And everybody just gets together. The whole Spangler family helping Phoebe hold Garaka with the proton pack. And in the end, of course, Ghostbusters come out on top, as always. As always. And, of course, in the end, you have Walter Peck coming up with his hand on his high saying, you guys did all this again. You guys caused everything to happen. And then they're like, all the reporters around him, all the people are saying, Ghostbusters, Ghostbusters. And we have, like, the news, the reporters asking him, you should be, how do you feel that, the Ghostbusters were able to defeat this? And he's like, oh, well. And then, in true fashion, Walter Peck gets his comeuppings because he has to be forced to thank the Ghostbusters and thank Phoebe, which is the one that he said could not be a Ghostbuster because it was her idea, it was her plan, and she was the one that helped, contain Garaka. So in the end, all's well that ends well. We have the team back at ghostbusting capability. Or Trevor, he finally gets to drive. Now all the ghosts are loose, so there's a lot more ghostbusting that's gonna happen. I don't know whether maybe there'll be another sequel. I'm kind of hoping there is because I love these characters. I actually really do love, like, the way this whole thing, the passing of the torch kind of thing, like the original Ghostbusters and then the new Ghostbusters. I like it because not only that, the new Ghostbusters are part of the original team because they're descendants of Egon Spangler. That is just like the cherry on the top of my sundae. So again, guys, this movie was pretty good. I laughed. There's moments where I teared up. There was action. It was just a really good movie. So this is just my opinion, of course, guys. You guys got to go watch the movie and form your own opinion, okay? Why don't you guys let me know what you think of the movie in the comments. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, what your thoughts are. We can have a conversation, as always, okay? Do not forget to like and subscribe. Hit that bell for notifications, guys. That way you know when my content drops and you can watch it. All those who are already my subscribers, thank you so much. Guys, I gotta tell you, Emma's getting nervous. We're getting so close to 500 subscribers, and he's thinking, where can I hide? I don't want to be in front of the camera. I'm going to pull him in front of the camera. Come on, guys, let's get to 500 subscribers. We can do this. Okay, guys, as always, from my heart to yours, put some love out in the universe, and I'll see you in the next one. Go watch Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. It's amazing. Go. Bye, guys.